Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2026 Porsche Panamera 4 E-Hybrid. Huge shout out to Hendrik Porsche for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This Panamera is finished off in a slate gray Neo with options. MSRP is just over $156,000. This is powered by the 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 paired with that hybrid system along with the 8-speed PDK, and combined it pumps out 463 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. It's all-wheel drive, weighs in around 5,000 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds with a top speed of 174 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.1 gallons. You'll expect to see around 21 miles per gallon combined, and then it has a total range of around 30 miles on just the EV system alone. This also has a wheelbase of 116.1 inches. Its overall length is 198.9. It has a width of 76.3, a height of 56, and its ground clearance measures in at 5 inches. Now for the exterior styling, you really can't tell this apart from a standard Panamera 4, aside from the E-Hybrid badge on the side. So I think it's really nice to see it doesn't have any specifics to show that it is a hybrid. Up front, this has a dark housing for all of the LEDs with the turn signals mounted in the lower section. You'll notice parking sensors, a sensor for distance pacing, and there's also a lot of cutouts up front, including active grille shutters in the middle. So those will open and close depending on the cooling needed for the vehicle. And there's a few crisp lines coming down the hood with the Porsche emblem, of course, right at the bottom there. Now this model also has an optional set of 21-inch wheels with that multi-spoke and two-tone design, along with the gray calipers. There's also some trim accents for the lower section of the bumper, and it works its way to the lower side skirt, where this also has power folding side mirrors, which feature a camera and a turn signal, and then that E-Hybrid badge just behind this trim accent with some nice lines that flow down the door from that accent. There's also some chrome accents for the window trim. It's on the door handles, and this has the dual sunroof up top. And then as we take a step back, this is more of a hatchback. So it has that steeply raked rear glass, but all of the lines flow nicely meeting the back here, where this has the LED light bar that runs through the middle. There's also a deployable spoiler too. There's a backup camera, parking sensors, and the quad tip exhaust. Now you can use the control on the key fob or the release underneath, where, like I mentioned, this is a hatchback, so it doesn't have that traditional opening, which provides you with more cargo space in the back. As you can tell, the charger is also located back here at the moment. There's no storage under the floor like in a traditional Panamera, so there's more battery components for that hybrid system. You have some tie downs, there's a 12 volt. This cover is removable, and you can fold the back seats down as well. So if you need a little bit more space, it is still a very practical vehicle. In the regular Panamera, there's not too much space under the floor either, so you're really not sacrificing much if you choose to go with the hybrid. Now this also has proximity door handles, so you can lock and unlock it from all 4 doors, where this model has the black and gray interior, so it's a nice combo. This also has Bose for the audio. You'll notice the two-tone design for the door panel, along with some matte black accents, lock and unlock, and a window control too. And then for the back seats, you'll notice the Porsche emblem in the headrest, where you can also pull the release in order to fold these seats down. So you have a large opening to place in additional items. And on the window sticker, it says 2+1. So this has the middle seat option, which is nice. Now once in back at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. You'll notice there's storage pockets. There's also vents in the middle. You can go through your temperatures, fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, along with the heated seats. And then at my height, I have about 1 inch or so of headroom, but I can sit upright and be comfortable. So I could go on a road trip, I could be fine in the back. Your middle seat passenger is going to be a little bit tight. But you have cup holders with the armrest, and you can also fold this middle seat down if you need to. And then you'll notice that small window there to help see around this pillar in the back. This also has soft closed doors too, so if you don't close them all the way, that is a nice feature to have. Now up front, there's memory seating adjustments, window controls, side mirror adjustments. You'll notice the fuel cap release along with the liftgate, and then you have storage down below. And then Panamera 4 is also an illuminating badge on the door sill. And then you have the same design for these seats, of course, which are automatic. So all those adjustments are down on the side. And then as we hop in, we're greeted with a solid leather steering wheel. But let's start this up. So that button's located on the left. Now it is going to default to the e-Power. So you'll notice hybrid auto. So you're not going to actually hear it until you put it into one of the different driving modes. So with this stock on the right side, the engine just kicked on, and you can rotate between Sport Plus, Sport, Hybrid, and then when there's enough charge, you have the e-Power available. And then coming back to the gauge cluster now, to go through the rest of this information, you have controls over on the right side. So if I push on the far right button, you'll notice the blue highlight around each of the sections there. So if we start on this left side, now I can use the rotor dial to scroll up and down. I can go to the right side and go through some of that information as well. And then when I highlight the middle, you can go through a few gauge cluster changes. So depending on the information that you need to see, you have a few more. So you only have that one customizable screen, the rest is going to be fixed, but it's nice that you can at least go through all of that. This also has paddle shifters too. There's voice commands, volume, a favorites button, and tuning on the left side, and then the cruise control stock. There's headlight adjustments, along with gloss black for the trim accent, leather for the dash, along with the head-up display. There's also a clock up top as well with some vents. And then with the infotainment system, you have a lot that you can go through. So for your home screen here, there's all of these icons. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. This model has the Sport Chrono package, which increases that top speed, and you have some of this information that you can monitor, which is pretty neat to see. You also have performance, so you can look at some of this information. I'm currently on the brake right now, and you even have some other vitals here that you can dive into, which is pretty neat, including all of the energy settings for that hybrid system. You can also get into charging for that, so you have another control here where you can go through that information, and you can also swipe over for this split view. Now there's also some shortcuts on this left side, so you can quickly get into this information, and you also have the different driving modes. You have your chassis. This also has an adaptable suspension, so you can raise and lower it, and you can adjust the rear spoiler as well, and look at some of this daily driving information. Super easy to go through. This is your gear select, so push it up for reverse, where you have the 360 view and different shortcuts as well. So that way you can see around the vehicle, you can put it into drive, pull up the forward camera as well, and then get into the rest of these. You also have the manual setting, and then park located up top. Now there's air vents underneath that, and then controls for your climates. There's heated and ventilated seats too, temperature adjustments, everything's laid out well with the toggles, and there's also a climate menu. So that allows you to get into your rear climates too, and go through some of this information to set this up as needed. Now there's also wireless charging with some auxiliaries. There's cup holders. You get a little bit of storage in the armrest there. There's also a locking glove box with plenty of space. This model also has the passenger screen. So if you click on home, you can go through some of these icons here, which is neat. You can look at devices, you can even pull up cockpit here, so that way you can see some of this information as well. You can get into the navigation too, so bring that up in full screen, input some of that information, and then you have shortcuts on this left side. So you can get into some of this information as well. Pretty neat to see as a passenger, so you can quickly view all of that. There's garage door buttons up top, and then you have controls for the rear, sunshade, and then the sunshade and sunroof for up front. So you can open and close those, of course, as needed. And then with a look at visibility, it is pretty easy to see over both shoulders. So you have quite a lot of glass for this. As we sat up behind the wheel now for the Panamera 4 E-Hybrid, I just drove a Panamera 4, so just the normal engine without the plug-in hybrid system. And it's also worth noting too, if you're new to our channel, I used to own a plug-in hybrid X5. So I had that almost 2 years, so I have pretty good ownership experience with how that system will work. It's going to be fairly similar across different brands and different vehicles. I definitely think it's cool technology. I did decide to sell that car and go back to just a normal gas one, but this is a great option for those of you who are going to use this to its full capabilities and use all of the different options. For me, it was kind of a guessing game on what mode you wanted to use depending on your hybrid charge or the battery charge and the type of driving that you are doing. Right now, I have put the vehicle into e-charge since we didn't have any range for the EV system, so it is something that you can charge while driving. Now, if you wanted to get this from 0 all the way up to 30 or so miles that it has, you will have to be driving this vehicle for a very long time. Highway driving can help charge it a little bit quicker. Stop and go, it will, but you really have to put some miles on the vehicle and some time to get it to charge. So it is beneficial to plug it in every night. I just plugged mine into a normal 3-prong outlet. Because it has a small range, it was charged by morning time. So it's not something where you have to go out and get a level 2 charger or anything like that, because it's not a full EV. So you don't have to do that unless you just want it to be charged in 20 minutes or something like that. But you do have to charge it every night if you want the full benefits from the system. Other than that, this is very similar, of course, to the Panamera 4 that I just got out of. However, we do have even more power. So let's put it into Sport Plus. While we don't have the full capabilities, I'm not doing pedal to the floor, of course, today, but we do have a bit more power, which is nice. So not only do you have the EV benefits, but you get a little bit of extra power. This also, however, weighs about 700 pounds more than the normal Panamera 4. So it is a heavier vehicle with those components. So keep that in mind. With my X5 plug-in hybrid, I went from a 45E, so the plug-in hybrid, to a 40i, which is the non-plug-in hybrid. And honestly, there wasn't too much of a difference simply because of the weight. So my X5 was about 800, 900 pounds more than the non-plug-in hybrid. So the weight is a factor in that. Just to keep in mind, it's a heavier vehicle, so the range in MPG, a little bit smaller fuel tank than the Panamera 4. It's just kind of a toss-up in my opinion. I'm not trying to downplay either one. It's just for your preference and what you are looking to get. Those are just the facts of the vehicles. But in general, this is a Porsche, so it's a luxury vehicle. It's going to be super comfortable to drive. Daily driving is going to be great. If you're doing a lot of city driving, you could just put it in the EV system, but again, with the extra weight, it is going to deplete a little bit quicker, so just keep that in mind. But it would be a fantastic road tripping vehicle. It's very solid for the interior as far as the noise goes too. So there's not a lot of road noise or wind noise. And at 5'10", I have about 2 inches or so of headroom, and it's a height adjustable seat, of course. So you could be a little bit taller than me and still fit comfortably. So for its smaller-ish size, it's pretty roomy. Maybe not for your middle passenger in the back, but that is an option. So you can just buy the Panamera as a 4-seater. And then with this being a daily driver, it's also very maneuverable too. Now, I don't believe we have rear wheel steering, but this is a super tight turning radius. And still in Sport Plus second gear, here we go. And just a minor acceleration, we're up to speed. Now, this does have 1 mile of range on the e-Power. So I can flip it into just the EV now, where we're not going to hear the engine, of course, and you can just cruise in the EV system. And of course, with a longer range, you'll be able to do that around the city or whatever situation you choose to do that. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Panamera 4. Really nice materials for the interior here, and you have that passenger screen. Now, the Panamera 4 that I was in just had a piano black trim accent. It did not have that passenger screen. So I believe that's only on some of the higher trim levels. I don't think it's an option for the Panamera 4, but you have that if that's some technology that you would like to use as well for your passenger. And everything else is really nice. We have the physical buttons for the climates, which a lot of people like. However, it's a pretty easy touchscreen system to use, and you have the voice commands as well to help. So for this interior, I don't want to say it's basic, it's very luxury focused, really nice layout for the tech features that are available, but it's also simple too. So if you're not looking for a ton of technology, you have everything right here and it's easy to use. Now, I'm not sure if you just heard, but the engine just kicked in since I had it on hybrid auto. So it was an EV, and then a little bit more juice put it into the combined system. So the hybrid technology is neat. It's definitely evolving to a lot of different models. A lot of brands are incorporating these into some of their models. Some of them are just going strictly to plug-in hybrids, but I think it is nice that you have the Panamera 4 and the E-Hybrid, just depending on what is going to suit you best. So really nice platform overall with a lot of different options. You can even go up to the turbos too, which have a lot more power. So just depending on what you would like out of your luxury-focused daily driver. But that is going to wrap it up for the Panamera 4 E-Hybrid. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrik Porsche for providing this for me today. Take a look at the website, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.